sports coaches. Welcome. My name is Tom. I'm joined with my co-host in Jaiden and Bailey. We are your GameDay Squad Women's Aussie Rules crew. We're going to be looking at a player's performance from a fantasy perspective and other fantasy breakdowns to help you all get game day ready. You can see everyone's Twitter @ down below. Go show some love to my boys. You can see all the fantasy content that they release all the time, which will help you all get game day ready as well. Make sure that you're climbing up that leaderboard, the ranks. But fellas, I'll be ready to talk some footy and rip in to a little bit of a round 2 review because bloody hell, it was a good one.
Yep, let's get stuck in. Plenty to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of things to talk about.
Let's do it then, because this is might be my favourite part of the show, only because this week I'm on top. I'm going to pull up our leaderboard. We're going to check in. So this is on GameDay Squad, and if you haven't signed up already, there's a link down below in the description. You get 30 free player packs to start it, get it opened, and start building your dream squad. So my dream squad is a little bit better than the others this week, but there's not too much splitting us. There's me up top, 1,848 points for the round, which has me at 21st for the round and 21st for the season. So no complaints there. Of course, I want to be a little bit better than that, but we're trending in the right direction. What about you, Bales? You're there at second. How do you feel about round 2?
Yeah, I had some... It's okay. 31st for the week was 1746, so that's fine. Puts me at an overall rank of 29. So we're sort of hovering around that 30 range. Had some big performers on the weekend, namely Bowers, Marinoff, Laura Gardner. Like some big scores there. But there was also some putrid scores there, unfortunately. I had Laura Pugh for a bad score in the wet there. Ash St. Gemma Houghton against Brisbane, which is probably my mistake. Probably shouldn't have left him in there. But forward line, there's not too many options I have at the moment. So, and yeah, Sarah Rowe as well also did really well. Bonnie too good. Like there was a lot of good forms. Just those poor, like a couple of sort of lower scores that really cost me from having a really big week. But we move on and hopefully have a better week in round 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jaiden, they're at third, mate. How was your round? Quickly sum it up.
Yeah, struggling to keep up, I think. I did all right in round 1, but I think that was just a bit of luck, and it seems like I'm missing a lot of the big dogs that other people have. And yeah, a few silly errors, but we regroup and we try again.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of regroup, let's go look at the best of the best for the round. And just quietly, 2,102 points to win our classic competition this week. 2,479 for the champion. What some massive scores.
Yeah, and then first overall for Classic Comp also got in the top 10 for the champions. So that was a very good week by Gracie's team there.
Yeah, the scores don't really seem real to me, to be honest. 50% higher than what I scored. No, awesome job, and congrats to those in the top 10.
Yeah, these guys killed it. These were the best of the best. Some familiar names from last week. Hopefully, I can be good enough to match up with some of these people and like the boys here, but we'll find out soon enough. But we'll move it on to our first segment of the show with some player analysis. This is the Emojtrix, which is what we do is we look at a couple of different emojis and assign some player performances to them. We've got our 4 set ones here. Tried to make it a little bit easier for everyone to follow along. So I'm going to start it off with my money bag, and we'll go around the room here. Money bag emoji for the week is Sophie Conway. 115 fantasy points, 2 goals, 12 kicks, 8 tackles. That is elite from a forward, and I want all of that. So you need to buy her now before her price is through the roof.
So my money bag emoji, tough one because there's a lot of good performances in the week, but I think I'm just going to shout out once again for having another big performance, Laura Gardner. So she's got 130 points. I know we talked about her last week as being a player that you should be looking at targeting, but I still think there's a few people that haven't quite sort of caught on of how well she's going, and if you can get her in a really good deal, I'd be getting it. But she had an awesome game on the weekend once again.
Yeah, we put through quite a good deal last week, Bales, to give one of my Laura Gardners to you. So thanks for that. My money bags emoji this week goes to Matilda Schultz in the ruck. the rucks have kind of struggled a little bit this year. Hasn't really been anyone that's dominating. So if you're running with her, that's exceptional. She's been pretty good. I actually picked her up in my free packs this week, so potentially could get a run as a number one ruck. So maybe you want to get on now from a dynasty perspective.
Definitely. Couldn't agree with that more. I actually gave her the nod this week as well, and she's very viable in both formats. Not only Game Day Squad Fantasy, but of course, your super coach as well. She is some bloody value. But let's move it on to our rocket emoji, someone who's exploded in performance for the round. And mine is going to none other than Harriet Cordner. 98 fantasy points as a defender, 13 kicks, 7 marks, back-to-back weeks of bang, bang. Love to see it. Beautiful, beautiful play. So, yeah, well deserving of that. But Bales, mate, who exploded for you this week?
Well, I was lucky enough to own her, and she's going to be highly talked about in the official game this week. And if you've got her in Game Day Squad, you'd be very, very happy. But Kiara Bowers missed round one with a late out with knee soreness, and people panicking everywhere on all the formats trying to trade her out, unless you were with Moreira's Magic where you can't make trades. But yeah, she was back with a bang, and if you're going to want to try and get her this week, because if you forgot her in your side, you've got that leg up, because yeah, she's just an absolute machine, and yeah, just continues to go well week in, week out.
And I would say, from my team point of view, an explosion that I needed was by Ali Anderson from Brisbane Lions. Might be a bit of a left field pick, but she scored 137 GDS points this week, which was really good, and it's great to have her back. She's been in a little bit of leaner form in the finals last year and in round one, but she's back and she's an option in your midfield now.
Yeah, love that, love that. Move it on. Disappointing performance or the stock down. This is not the one you want to be, but unfortunately, mine's going to Ella Roberts this week, and it's only because of how good I think she is. 74 fantasy points, 13 handballs, so heaps of handballs. And yeah, just didn't play that well, but I'm not too concerned. She's going to bounce back. But what about you, Bales? Who's your stock down?
So my stock down, it wasn't a great performance on the weekend. She still got about a 70-odd, but Ellie Blackburn was just a little bit quiet against the Hawks. What looked like a good matchup on paper, but yeah, struggling a little bit there. She had a good, okay round one, but yeah, round two not as good. So hopefully she can pick her performance back up this week.
Yeah, true. Jaiden, what about yourself, mate?
Yeah, stocks down for Chelsea Randall this year.
Yeah.
Role, bit questionable. Not really sure, so it's definitely different from last year where she was just put absolutely everywhere, and the scoring has been affected, so it'd be a shame if you owned her in fantasy.
Yes, it is. And let's move it on. A bit of a lighter note. This is a performance that was lit, a cracker performance for the round. Mine is going to my new recruit for my team, so this is very close to heart. Jasmine Garner, 160 fantasy points, was eating on the weekend, 20 kicks, 10 tackles, and a cheeky sausage roll just to finish it all off. Love to see it. But Bales, who was your lit performance for this round?
So she's not in my side. I've got her in the official game, but Ash Riddell, Jazz Garner's teammate, she went huge as well. Obviously, everyone talk about Jazz Garner, how well she's gone, but just quietly, Ash Riddell is putting together a pretty good start to the year. Well, a very, very good start to the year, I should say. So I'm just getting her averages up here at the moment. So she scored 191 points on the weekend. I think that's correct, or I've got the silver up here. But she's averaging 146.5 points across the first two rounds. So again, another one, if you can get your hands on her, she'd be a good pickup.
Huge. And Jaiden, who's your most lit performance for the round? Wrap it all up.
Yeah, for the round, but I also have had my eye on the form of this person for a while, and the lit person for this round is Charlie Rowbottom from Gold Coast Suns. Just quietly, she's been pumping out 90 plus since the middle of last year, just every single week, after a few lower scores to start the year last year, but she's really taken off since then and absolutely has the keys to the midfield.
Oh, that is such a great pick. I think she's becoming a fan favourite amongst everyone in the fantasy community. But let's go off. We're going to go a little bit rogue. Pick two of our own. I'm going to start this off with the lock emoji, and I'm going for Kate Hoare because she will not be leaving my forward line this year. Her stellar play, if she's available to play at least, she will definitely be starting for the Zeus Cannons. She had 5 goals, 17 kicks, 8 marks, and 6 tackles on the weekend. I couldn't even believe it when I read that stat line off myself. She got it done in every single way possible. So she finished the week 2, sorry. So she finished week 2 as the number 1 forward, had 174 fantasy points. What more could you ask? And then I might go over to my second one. I'm going a spyglass for Lucy McAvoy from the Sydney Swans. She only had 46 fantasy points this outing. She didn't have the game that coaches were probably hoping for, especially after round 1. She looked extremely solid, but I'll be keeping a watchful eye on her performances over the coming weeks, but she still does have a starting role in my team. Bales, how about yourself, mate? Who'd you go with this week?
Yeah, thanks for having to mention Kate Hall, who I traded out in the official game this week. So, yeah, that was fantastic. So, I'm going to go stocks up for this one. And I'm going to go Sarah Rowe in the forward line. So, she's not talked about too heavily in most fantasy circles because I think in other games she is it hasn't been consistent. But in the forward line in GameDay Squad, she's had a very, very good start to the year with averaging 105.5 points. And in a forward line where we have probably got less options in GameDay Squad compared to a few other formats, she's going very, very well and definitely inside sort of the top few scorers in the forward line. So if you can get your hands on a Sarah Rowe in your side, again, be a very, very good pickup. And then my other emoji is going to go... it's going to be the lock emoji, and it's going to be Ebony Marinoff. I was lucky enough to pack her on Thursday night, which Tom was just on you after our watch song, and I packed a silver one of her. And again, she's just locked to go well pretty much every week. And if it wasn't for those big midfield scores more on the Sunday, I think we'd be speaking about her a lot more. But with the fact that a lot more people went big, I think she'll be a bit under the radar. So it could be lock or under the radar emoji, but Ebony Marinoff, great performance.
Love those picks. And Jaiden, mate, go rogue. Finish it off. What have you got for us?
Yeah, 2 emojis to finish it off. Number 1, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's the GOAT emoji. We all know who it is. No comparison in AFLW whatsoever. It's Kiara Bowers. Career average pushing 110. That's ridiculous. No low scores to start off the career. She's just been uber consistent. And if I owned Kiara Bowers Legend, even though I play Classic Comp, maybe I'd need to adjust the salary cap just to fit her in. That's how valuable she is for her scoring. And the second emoji, a bit less exciting, but I'll use the dog emoji because the Bulldogs have been really struggling this year, and highlighted by the fact that no one really scored well in round 2 against the Hawks. I owned Ellie Blackburn in the midfield as a gold, 88 points, not great, but the Bulldogs are massively struggling to score.
Yeah, too true. And I think that might be the best fitting for a player to emoji that will ever have. The GOAT for Kiara Bowers. That is legendary. Love that you did that. Awesome. But we'll wrap that up. That's the Emojtrix done for the week. We're going to move it on to my little segment here, the Bronze Squad. And fellas, I present to you this godly Bronze Squad. As you know, bit of nostalgia. Is bronze good? Let's find out this week. This week, our Bronze Squad totaled 2,268 points, which will take out first place in our classic competition. But as Bailey hinted at before, not by much. So very close, but it still would have taken it out. And it would have got 6th in the champion competition. So it would have been a double podium finish for our Bronze Squad. So I'm claiming this as a massive W for the Bronze Squad. It is officially 2-0 against our competitors on GameDay Squad. The man in shining armour asks if bronze cards are good. I'll just let the squad talk for itself. You can see there, bronze cards are the key to completing your team. So make sure you hang on to your goodies and keep opening your weekly packs because you never know which star you will pull next. So I'll keep it short and sweet this week, boys. That wraps up the Bronze Squad. Killer week for it. And Bales, you're going to take us over with your transfer market analysis, or the transfer market master, as some would call you, mate. So take it away.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, would have been a bit better this week, but I have been unwell since Friday, so we don't have too much on the transfer market this week. But just a couple of sort of key things to note from the weekend. Obviously, we have mentioned a couple of times already, Kiara Bowers went huge in her first week back with 158 points as a bronze card. Again, if you can get your hands, I know there's a few Kiara Bowers sort of floating around on the market. If you can get your hands on a Kiara Bowers and get her into your side, that would be something that would be very, very worthwhile doing. Another one to keep an eye on is Ruby Slicer from Collingwood. So it looks like she'll be back this week. She missed the first 2 weeks. I believe it's with a foot injury. But she's looking like she'll be back this week. And she was the number one scoring defender last year. And that was playing midfield. And I think she's sort of the Jack Crisp, if you look at the AFL men's comp, where they're actually better when they play in defence. I think Slice will move back into defence with Bree Davey, Benici back, and then also Lauren Butler being out. So if you can pick up a Ruby Slicer, put her in your defence, that again, it would be another very, very good call there. Mim Strom is another ruck I want to talk about as well. She's been, I think, the number one scoring ruck so far this year, averaging 110.5 points over the first 2 weeks. Looking very, very good, absolutely killing it. Again, if you can get Mim Strom there. Maybe, again, probably another one we could have put in the Emojtrix there, a bit under the radar to pick her up. That'd be very good. And so also Ali Morpher averaging 110 there, so not too far behind, has also started very, very well. And then sort of the final bit we'll go into the forward line is, I've got all four of these players in my side, but Bonnie Toogood, Neve Kelly, Laura Gardner, and Sarah Rowe. They're the four. If you can get your hands on one of those four, they're all scoring very, very well to start the season. Maybe Sarah Rowe might, and maybe Neve Kelly might drop off a little bit compared to how they started, but Bonnie Toogood and Laura Gardner have started very, very well. So they would be another couple of players to pick up in your side. So that will be it for transfer market analysis for week 2.
Love it, Kelly. You know how big I was on her after a week 1 performance. That's a player I need in my forward line. I'm very, very jealous. But great analysis, but we're going to take it over to Jaiden's little part here. J-Pop's picks, mate. Take it away.
Yeah, it's time for some pop-out picks for round 2. And there's, plenty of options going around that you might not have at the front of your mind. So I'm here to bring some info that you might need for these players. So we'll start in defence with Gab Pound. We knew she wasn't going to be playing round 1, but she returned in round 2 with a massive 109 points. And if you have her, you need to put her back on your field. I know you wouldn't have put her on in round 1, but don't forget about her. She'll be really good, and playing the Eagles up next. In the midfield, I've picked Whitford. I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. I did all the fixture analysis at the start of the year, see who had a good matchup to start the year, and I practically just picked the wrong one. Gold Coast have absolutely smashed it this year in the midfield, and it's because they're playing really good opponents. And so if you have a Whitford, keep her on your field. Another good matchup this week, and Suns are absolutely dominating from that, so keep it up, I guess. And in the forward line, I've gone with Ponta. I actually have a Ponta. I had her on field last week, and then I took her off, and that was very silly because she's actually been, playing in the midfield a little bit, and we certainly saw that on the weekend with a 80, 90, 100 metre goal. Let's just round it up.
And goal of the AFLW ever.
Yeah, so that was exceptional. She's been playing in the midfield, and I need to get her back on my field because that's an absolute rookie mistake by me. So those are the 3 pop-out picks you need for your GameDay Squad team this week.
Beautiful. Rounding off our pop-out picks. Yeah, that goal. Yeah, maybe the best goal I've ever seen. That was cracker. I can't believe how far away she was and just the bounce that it took over the full forward's head. That has to be the most unreal moment, one of the most unreal moments I've ever seen in a footy game. Period. But let's move it on to our pack of the week. And fellas, I'm keeping a theme from last week. I sort of liked the pack battle that we had, and I'm going to put up another pack battle. And,
Similar
don't want
name
to
there.
brag.
Yeah.
Some call me the pack god on GameDay Squad. I've done a couple pack openings in my day. No legends yet, but I've nominated myself. I don't know if that's going to be a detriment in the long run here, but I'm going to let you two decide. So you can analyze these pack. We got Fesman from our Discord. You got myself on the left, him on the right. Who do you think wins this pack battle? And we'll take out the champion and be pack of the week winner.
So your pack, Tom, is very good there. You've got some good players. You got Patricios, Brown, Hatchard, Priest, Garner. But I think that I'm going to pick. Last week I went the best pack overall. This week I think that the other players are good, but I think I like the Georgie Prasparkas Diamond, and the fact that because you're going to be able to use that in the Classic comp this year if you can have a few bronzes, but also that's going to be very valuable in years to come for not only Dynasty, but when you go into the Champion comp, the Diamond Prasparkas is going to be very, very valuable. So I would go with that pack. And also, Greta Bodie there, a very, very handy forward as well. So I will pick Fesman's pack there.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that Diamond Prasparkas, but Jaiden, this leaves you to make the decision. Am I going to have to step in here, or what's your analysis?
Are you voting for yourself here?
No, I won't do it. If there's a tiebreaker, I'll hop in. But I'll leave this up to you fellas.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to be a bit biased anyway. Look, just looking at this, like, Tom, I know it's a great pack, but like that, all of those cards you're probably going to fit in your GameDay Squad anyway. So like, I don't think you need any more cards, to be honest. Like, if I'm being frank here,
I didn't want to say it, but Jaiden said it.
Yeah, like that. I think your team's complete. You don't need to ever worry about your team ever again. That's just too good. If we're giving out a prize for pack of the week, I think we'll go with Georgie Prasparkas Diamonds. And sorry Tom, but I think you've just been. It's too good to be pack of the week.
Yeah, fair call. Fair enough, and you are right.
Just a bit of a brag, I reckon.
Yeah, just a subtle insertion. Put himself.
Well, it might explain why I overtook Bailey this week and went to number 1. Is this pack single-handedly took me to first place? So yeah, you are right. I don't need any more players. That Diamond Georgie Prasparkas is one of the best Dynasty cards you can have on GameDay Squad. There's limited amount. One of the best players, young gun. So, Fesman, congratulations. You're going to take our pack of the week this week. I'll be in touch with you on the Discord. And who knows, seeing as you pulled one, you might pull another.
And just quickly, because people probably think, it's not a legend, so like, whatever. But like, Diamond's the next best thing from a legend. So it's 1.4 multiplier. They're obviously limited supply with diamonds as well. So if you get a Diamond Prasparkas, there's not real. The only better thing is a legend. So it's a very, very, very good pull.
Couldn't agree more. But guys, that's going to wrap us up. That is round 2 of our women's Aussie Rules show on GameDay Squad. Thank you to my co-host, Jaiden Ed Bales, for joining me for the second week. We're going to continue to deliver you some fire content over the season. These are some of the best we could have got for this. They know what they're talking about. So make sure you are subscribed right now so you're notified when the next episodes come out. I've got some other stuff brewing in the background as well, which might include some of these guys for some future videos. Very exciting. But again, thanks for making it this far. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as I mentioned. Get in all the links down below in the description. I have links to Jaiden, Bales, GameDay Squad, all of that good stuff. We know you're going to love it because you're here. You love fantasy, so you're going to love all that content as well. But yeah, that's going to wrap us up. Cheers, everyone, for tuning in for this long. And we'll catch you next week for episode 3.
See ya.